We're back.
We are back. And good evening, one and all, for our weekly anger session that we also sometimes call This Week in College Football. I am Red, the face behind the voice. Welcome to the Jesus fucking Christ newly subscribed members of the channel that joined us in the last week. About 100 you crazy bastards joined up to the Red Army, so thank you, and keep it coming if you like what we do here. Like, share, continue to subscribe. Appreciate it.
Tell a friend and tell a friend, 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 tell a motherfucking friend.
Okay, take it easy.
My left, your right is a good friend of the channel, Alan. How you doing?
Yeah, well, I am on the left, so I'm on the left from my perspective. So anyway, hi, hello, how we doing?
Or my left, your right, I guess. And then Akbar.
Yeah, because Akbar is on my right would be your left, maybe, depending on how you
getting
look at
semantics. And our resident sad sooner, my right, your left, Akbar fan. Welcome once again back to the show. Appreciate you having here.
No problem.
All right, and as usual, every week before we get to the actual rankings and the actual news, it's always good to take a couple of minutes, sit back, and just look in the mirror. Be honest with ourselves. I really don't want to this week.
Red, you can go last because your team lost, so you can go last. You have the most to say out of everything. I will go first and say we kicked Washington's ass. I did not need to be fucking worried. Holy shit!
He screamed so loud his mic went out.
We took those
mic rage quit.
Shoved them back in their crates and fucking kicked their goddamn ass.
I think Pete is going to be issuing a warning.
For dog abuse. Oh no.
We beat their ass. Seriously though, look, if you don't understand, Washington has been our kryptonite in recent years. It's them or it's Stanford, somebody like that. It's either we get mauled by Huskies or we fly straight into, as Red would say, a wall of fucking trees. But we got it done. And I think, honestly, the fact that we beat Ohio State, sorry, Red, was an omen for how the rest of the season is going to go. We're going to go undefeated. We're going to the Big Ten championship game. And Penn State, you guys are lucky that Ohio State fucking got mauled by Wolverines. Yeah, I'm going to milk the shit out of this because I'm happy. Suck it.
Well, spoiler alert first, but whatever.
You got lucky that the Buckeyes got mauled by Wolverines. Here's the problem. You're about to get pecked by a flock of fucking ducks. You call yourselves lions? We're going to turn you into fucking house cats. Prepare to get your ass kicked and reminded why you should have fired James Franklin fucking forever ago. Because he sucks.
All these.
We've got beef, motherfucker!
Let's go! First year in the Big Ten, we're gonna win this bitch! #1 seed in the college
Okay.
Can we mute him for a minute?
You're muted. You're done.
I'm done anyway. I'm done. I'm good.
Okay. You got it all out of your system. You feel better about yourself?
Yes. Very.
It's the one-way train from the Florida State transfer portal still in service. That's good.
Oh, gosh. I'm not a skinwalker, Billy. What the fuck is this? The Walking Dead? Oh, and now here's Valor too. Yeah, because I'm catching your ass in USF. I'm gonna fucking beat you this week, god damn it. So y'all want to fucking come at me? Come the fuck at me.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, dude.
Man, we're starting off great.
Yeah, we're starting off real
I'm
great this
number
week.
1. What do you want?
You're
Sugar
gonna,
high of pure
hey,
football.
hey. A wise man once said, "The higher you are, the longer you fall."
See, I don't smoke weed, so I can't get high.
I wasn't talking about weed. I was talking about your spot in the top of the
I
mountain.
know.
A long way down from there, buddy. Don't trip and fall over. Akbar.
Steph, let me answer that question for you. Former Oregon head coach Mario Cristobal. That's why.
Oh my God, that's enough. You're muted. Akbar, you have the talking stick. Please use it.
Okay, OU lost to LSU. Was close at halftime. Like I think it was 24-17 at halftime, and that's been kind of the problem with them for past month or two is that they stopped showing up in the second half, except for that Alabama game. There's not really much to say. The season's over. They went 6-6. Definitely a little better than it could have been because honestly, after everything that's happened, it's amazing that they got one win in the SEC. They managed to get one win. Actually, they got two, and one of them was against Alabama of all teams. I mean, I know if this was Nick Saban's Alabama, that probably wouldn't have happened, but still. Could have gotten 3, could have gotten that win against Missouri, but whatever. The final few minutes of that game summed up the entire season for the most part.
Yeah. All right.
So, anyways, basically on to whatever bowl game that they'll be picked for, probably an early one. Hopefully it's definitely a team they can beat and come out the season with a 7-6 record and stay above 500 for
and take a wild guess and say it's back to the Alamo Bowl for y'all.
Maybe or the Liberty Bowl, whatever. But no, the Alamo Bowl,
Texas Bowl. Texas Bowl.
Okay, well, anyways. We got some good news. New offensive coordinator. We got the guy. We got Arbuckle from Washington State.
There you go. All right.
Was anyone paying attention to Washington State this year?
Are you going to buckle your offense into shape?
Hopefully.
I went there. Deal with it.
Well, I guess there's no avoiding it now.
Red, let me ask you real quick. Are you at least glad you went to the Indiana game and not this game?
Oh, yeah, I'm very glad I went to the Indiana game now in hindsight. I'm glad I did. I would have spent, $800 to sit in my ass cold as shit watching Ohio State lose. I got a couple friends I work with that went to the tailgating outside the stadium, and they said it was the saddest thing they've ever seen in their life after the game was over. It was like 100,000 people leaving a funeral. It was brutal. So, side note, that's
I think first things first, I think we should save you talking about the self-reflection. I think we should save that until we get to it. Let's talk about it like day by day, because I think the first game we need to talk about this week of chaos. First things first, let us talk quickly about I say we
Led's got to get it off his chest, man.
Akbar, with all due respect, my friend, I cannot keep this in. We got playoffs to get to, and we can get through all the shit that
wants
happened
to go and
last
stunner
week.
people, okay? Red is about ready to walk out in the street and stunner every single person he fucking sees.
Well, I was going to quickly say we could quickly talk about Tulane first. We talked about the Tulane game, and that was only going to take like a minute.
We'll get there, buddy. Yeah. RavGav248 with the $5. Thank you very much. Everyone chose violence this week. You're absolutely right. Thank you very much for the donation. Again, all donations that everybody puts into this show go right back into it. We recently got a green screen upgrade behind me over here. This is a brand new thing, all paid for by donations to the channel. So thank you again, RavGav248. Now, Akbar, I understand why you kind of just want to get to this week. You're trying to help me. You're trying to save me the pain and agony a little bit here. But, buddy.
Well, we would be talking about your game pretty early. Because that started at 11. That started at 11 at Saturday. We'd only have 2 games to talk about before we get to the Ohio State thing.
Really. Yeah, I know. And there's 2 games we can talk about. But, man, I can't keep it holding. In case you couldn't tell, I kind of let it rip for Chaos Week 14.
Yeah, you did.
That was one take. I didn't do a second screen. I literally took all the energy I had negative, and literally it belted out of me right to the ceiling. It was cathartic. And I'm so proud because that literally sounded like something you would see in an old Tom and Jerry cartoon. Yeah, I'm proud of that. But what I'm not proud of is whatever the fuck that was on Saturday. Jesus Christ. Listen. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to get going now. So listen. I have said for years, I think Ryan Day is not a good coach. And people can tell me, well, he's so damn good all the other times that the Ohio State plays. I'm like, you're right. Any other team we play, any other team in the Big Ten we play, we will win that game. 99.99% of the time, we're going to win that game. That is the
We got a dinner from Billy. Holy shit.
What are you doing, Bill?
$15 in less than 15 minutes. What the fuck is going on?
Vol Bill 99. Next fund other than a new PC, send Red to the game at the big house. Oh, boy. All right, listen, I got to get this off my chest. Everybody else, I will read your comments as I get them. Donations get priority because money. You donate your money to the channel, which I don't know why, but thank you. Anyway, I watched the game Saturday, and I was going to stream it, but I was with family, so I needed to be there for that, obviously. But as I watch this game, I see the missed opportunities. I see the field goal misses, and I see how everything's going. And it slowly dawns on me, oh God, it's happening again. And as the final plays tick off, my greatest fear was realized late in the fourth quarter by the bad, stupid play calling from Chip Kelly. What were those fucking plays? So you're not going to target Jeremiah Smith, the best wide receiver in the country, more than once in the second half. You're not going to utilize our top talent at wideout with a quarterback that's pretty good, Will Howard. He's not no Troy Smith, but he works. You had Ibuka. You had Jeremiah Smith. You didn't fucking target any of them that last drive. There's no way. And also, you're just check downs only? What the fuck are you, Will Howard? Joe Flacco?
I think what happened was they tried to run the ball.
Shut up.
They got too cute. They tried to be tough.
No. I got the talking stick now. Listen. Yeah, Yutkins too. Anderson, Yutkins. I am so disappointed in this team. And the worst part is, from everything I'm reading, we're not going to fire Ryan Day. I want his ass gone. I want him ran out of town. I don't want him coaching in the playoffs. He's not a good coach. There have been players coming out on social media talking about how he has literally a God complex and wants to blame everybody for himself. Well, no wonder Urban Meyer picked him as the next one up, right? Now it makes sense. So we should get rid of him. But to be fair, who the fuck would we replace him with? The
Chip
only
Kelly,
person,
your offensive coordinator.
Shut the fuck up. I would not let that man run a wagon train, let alone an offense.
What you just said there, I saw it on Twitter with some Oklahoma fans talking about the whole the recent hiring of Arbuckle, and I'm just asking, well, who else? Like some people are complaining about that and say like, oh, it's just like, well, who else would you have gotten? So it's the same situation.
In a perfect world, we would have fired him 2 years ago and brought back Luke Fickell and brought him home. He's a former Ohio State assistant coach. He even acted as interim coach during the Tattoo Gate scandal for a season. So, I would have brought home Luke Fickell. He's a damn good coach. He took Cincinnati to the fucking playoffs. But instead, we let the fucking Badgers grab his ass and extended Ryan Day. Oops, we fucked up. And now there's $31 million of buyout money that our NIL and boosters don't want to fucking spend on because guess what talks, kids? Money. And that money that can go towards buying out your head coach could go towards these transfers that are popping up in the portal because guess what? Will Howard ain't going to be around much longer. I can promise you that. And Buka's not going to be around much longer. A lot of guys are not going to be around much longer.
20!
Oh, God damn it, gamers. Again, seriously. I appreciate you, but damn, I'm never going to hide these sugar daddy fucking comments.
Allegation. You will
Dumb
never
gamers, I have been blessed with the gift of prophecy once again. Also, Notre Dame is the 4th seed of the official college football on Twitter. Notre Dame can't get higher than 5 seed in the playoffs because they're not in the conference. But once again, gamers, your money will go towards whatever I need to improve this channel. So thank you again for your donation and the other donations you've made. This son of a bitch has probably spent around $500 this year on me alone. And I'm never going to escape sugar daddy allegations because of that. So I got to rename something after that son of a bitch now because of it. The Dumb Gamers Green Screen. We'll call it that. The Dumb Gamers Green Screen. But I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Welcome to This Week in Sports Ball Podcast brought to you by Dumb Gamers.
No.
Yes, basically. Dumb Gamers is our sponsor. Also, Brandon, there's no way Ohio State goes against Bill Belichick. He's only going to stay in the NFL. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
He's already in his 70s, man. Even if he did accept it, you'd only have him for like a few
younger than him, if not 50 or some shit. Like, how
if you're going to get Bill Belichick, he's only going to be around for a few years. You can't expect this guy to keep coaching into his 80s or something.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that. I don't think we're going to get anybody at all, frankly. Alan, check the DM. We just got the updated graphic. I don't think that we're going to find – I don't think we were going to find anybody in it right now. So, unfortunately, we're stuck with Ryan Day for at least another year. And people keep on calling him John Cooper 2.0. I wouldn't go that far. John Cooper did not give a flying fuck about Michigan rivalry week. He did not care. And Michigan wrecked Ohio State seasons on numerous occasions. The last major one that he was on the helm for, 1995, they wrecked. If it wasn't for the loss to Michigan in 95, I don't know if they would have made the BCS or I guess the Bowl Coalition because of the Rose Bowl, but we could have split a national championship potentially with the Bowl Alliance winner. So I don't know, man. I said all I needed to say with Ohio State, which was just a guttural scream of intense pain and agony. And some might call me, as an Ohio State fan, a spoiled little brat. But don't forget, guys, I am not just an Ohio State fan. I am, rather sadly, a diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Ooh.
So
how about that defense?
It keeps me humble. Yeah, this was not a good weekend for me. All right, we're moving on. Well, yeah, Ohio was the factory of sadness. Not just Cleveland; the entire state was a factory of sadness this weekend. By the way, go Bobcats and Redhawks. I hope for a tie in the MAC championship. All right. All right. We're gonna move on now. The 5th college football playoff rankings have dropped. And feast your eyes on.
Let's look at this bullshit right here.
Yeah, this is
more because of 2 teams. Sorry, let me do it like this. These fuckers and these fuckers.
Yeah, everybody else.
How the fuck did Ohio State only drop 4 spots after losing to a mid-ass, unranked Michigan?
At home.
Exactly. And how the fuck... I guess the only reason why they only dropped that far is because it was close. Yeah. It should have been more, but Michigan's offense is dog shit. They can't fucking throw the ball more than 5 yards.
Oh, they would have dropped like a rock if they lost by freaking 20 or more.
Oh yeah, I know, absolutely. And fucking Alabama has backdoored their way in. And essentially, if SMU beats Clemson, Miami can't get back in. If Clemson beats SMU, I don't know what the fuck happens at that point.
So
Clemson would have to get in, but what happens to SMU? And then how does Alabama somehow stay in?
Okay, so I'm going to kind of break it down from what I am hearing through the channels. Ohio State was currently the last team that could get a home game. Again, the numbers are kind of flipped here. The higher you are on the first round, the better odds you're going to get a home game. So if this bracket were to hold up, we would get Ohio State versus Tennessee in the Shoe, Penn State versus Arizona State in Happy Valley, Georgia versus Indiana in Sanford Stadium between the hedges, and Notre Dame against Alabama in Notre Dame Stadium in front of Touchdown Jesus on a very cold winter night.
Part of me wants that game to happen so bad because we've seen this show before. How much would we bet that Alabama would just drive Notre Dame out of their own stadium?
Well,
because when was the last time Alabama's played Notre Dame? The last couple of times they played them, they kept getting knocked out of the playoff. Easy.
Well, Alabama and Notre Dame, I don't think have played since the fucking
COVID playoff.
BCS. Yeah, the COVID playoff. That was the only other time they've played. And Alabama smacked their asses like they were a newborn child getting baptized.
The Notre Dame playoff suck club.
Yeah, the Notre Dame playoff suck club. Notably absent from the rankings are these fucking guys. Miami fell out of the top 12 entirely.
What was that?
These fucking guys. Ole Miss
Please
is
never say that again. Never.
I was trying to be a Jon Stewart there. Forgive me.
Oh my god.
Fuck off. Well, this is what we're dealing with. All right. Miami is out after their second loss of the season. And that's what's I think the fact that Miami is out over Alabama is what pisses a lot of people off. To which I will kindly remind them that once Miami hit ACC play this season, the wheels quickly fell off the wagon, and the only reason why they survived as long as they did was pure dumb luck.
Yeah, I think Brandon
yeah, they should have at least 4 losses.
They should have lost to Cal. Cal blew that one.
Yes, they should have lost to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that fail Mary.
They honestly, I
mean, yeah,
those two games right there, they should have lost right away.
Yes, and this isn't a Florida State situation because it's not like their quarterback got fucking injured. He didn't. No. It's just the whole team is fucking. Again, we warned you about Mario Cristobal. This is what happens. The problem,
Cristobal and cock torture, and I will.
The problem with this is that we have.
It wasn't for you.
That's how I know. As I was saying, we just got a $5 from Cynical.
Cynical with 5. Enjoy shekels to cope with that Buckeye cope. I will humbly accept your poor shekels. Thank you for the 5 shekels. Oh man, I really appreciate you, Cynical. Thanks.
Is we have argued on this channel for months now, for quite a while now, about 3-loss teams should not be making the top 12. And here we are. Alabama's in as a 3-loss team. Miami is out as a 2-loss team. And now people are going to try. And now it just continues the cycle of SEC arrogance. And people say that ESPN is rigging it for the SEC, rigging it for Alabama to get in because of the fact, because again, a 3-loss team should not be in here. It's not anyone's fault besides the SEC. The fact that the SEC fucking cannibalized themselves.
I said this earlier. I said this to you guys on Discord. I typed this to you guys.
Yeah, and I know what you said, and what you said is bullshit. But you can say it if you want.
The SEC is quite top-heavy this year. And here's the thing. Yeah, they obviously have cannibalized each other, but that's kind of a good thing in some points because it's just like, well, shoot, there's a lot of good parity up there. What the heck is let's look at the Big Ten, for example. Indiana played almost nobody. They pretty much played almost everybody that was at the bottom of the conference. You can say the same with Texas. You can say the same with Texas, but Indiana, the one good team they really played, and they got absolutely smoked by Ohio State. If anything, I would say that Indiana might. Look. I know they're 1 loss, but I would honestly probably maybe keep them out. I don't know.
You can't. There's not enough teams with a record high enough to do that.
I fully get that. I'm just
who the fuck backdoors their way in after that? South Carolina. I'd love it if they were in over Alabama, but that's just not going to happen.
If this stays the same way, if Indiana plays Georgia or something, I'm telling you, whoever Indiana plays is going to probably smoke them. If that Ohio State game was any indication.
See, I disagree with you. If they play Georgia, watch Carson Beck just throw 3 interceptions.
Now that is true.
And Rourke fucking go off for 200, 300, 400 yards, and Indiana wins. If Indiana, I think, can get out in the first round, they'll probably get their ass kicked in the second round because if this all holds, they'd have to then go play Texas. But here's the problem. Texas has a chance to fucking lose to Georgia again. And then what happens? Georgia ends up in the top 4. Texas ends up in the wild card. And then it's like, what the fuck are we going to do now?
So I'm going to remind you of a couple of things. And I kind of want to draw a couple of lines here real quick. So I saw somebody make an interesting graph on Blue Sky earlier, and I can't show it because I didn't save it, but this is what it kind of describes. There's a few, we'll call them ovals of certainty here. If you are already projected to be a first-round bye, except for Boise State, you are certain to be in the playoff, according to what everybody is saying, including number 8 SMU. Yes, SMU is ranked number 8, but if they lose a close one to Clemson, are you really going to keep out a 2-loss SMU that has not only won out most of their games, but has dominated every single opponent they've played up until now? Exactly, you're not. You're not going to do this. And if Texas loses a close one to Georgia, you're not keeping them out. Oregon's undefeated. You're definitely not taking them out after one loss. Those 3 out of the 4 teams, except for Boise State, have clinched. If you look at the other side, numbers 6, anybody ranked basically 1 through 4 right now is in. Anybody ranked 5 through, I would say, 8 is in, barring epic collapse.
Question.
And again, general rankings. I'm not talking about the numbers inside the bracket, not the big, fat, bold numbers on the left side. Go ahead, Ekbar.
What happens if Boise State loses? That's the thing.
UNLV. UNLV gets in.
Oh, UNLV. Okay, I was
because that's the Group of 5 conference champ. Looking at current conference championship projections, the only other conference championship game outside of the Mountain West that has any ranked teams in it is Army versus Tulane, and UNLV is already ranked above Army. So there's no path for Army to get into the playoff.
And Tulane's
it's either going to be Boise State or UNLV as the automatic. And if they become an automatic qualifier, UNLV, then the Big 12 champion would probably leap ahead of UNLV and take the first round bye, because the Big 12 championship is between number 15 Arizona State, number 16 Iowa State. Unless UNLV destroys number 10 Boise State or number 4 Boise State, they're not going to jump above the Big 12. It would have to be a very convincing win for the Rebels first round bye.
I still want to say this. Tulane had a chance. They had a chance and they blew it. That's the first game I wanted to talk about in terms of chaos the weekend. Tulane could have beaten Memphis, and then they would probably be sitting in they might have been in the driver's seat after all the chaos. They might have been like, hey, we might be able to sneak into this thing. No, they won't.
If there was more Big 12 chaos, Colorado would have fucking made it in. So, and that's a fucking if you're ESPN, if ESPN had the ability, I dare say they'd put Colorado in over Alabama, only because you want Dion, you want Shadur, you want Travis. You want them in the national spotlight.
You beat me on that ball.
Travis might fucking win the Heisman, and he's not even going to play in the college football playoff. That's literally fucking insane.
Well, wait, hang on a second.
If they did not lose to Kansas, we'd be talking about Colorado in, Alabama out. That's a hot take.
Jaden Daniels won the Heisman last year, and freaking LSU had 3 losses.
He's got a point. It doesn't matter how good of a caliber. It doesn't matter how good of a caliber Heisman player you have. You don't need to have. If your team has a Heisman, hey, that's great. But football is not won by a single individual. It's won by a team effort. And Jaden Daniels was a great player on a decent team. He was a great player on a decent team. That team was not good enough to make the playoff. But Jaden Daniels by himself, yeah, sure, Heisman. Cam Ward, in this case, he's a great player. Definitely Heisman potential. The rest of his team is fucking mid. Ashton Genty is the exception. He's a great player, behind a great roster. Has nobody paid attention? I was doing prep because I'm going to be doing a conference championship preview video coming out either very late tonight or tomorrow night. Maddox, I think that's his name, Maddox, the quarterback for Boise State. Has nobody seen this dude's fucking stats? 3 interceptions all year.
Who does he play for?
Boise State.
He's Boise State QB.
Yeah, he's Boise State's quarterback, and he's a fucking beast.
He's being overshadowed by his running back.
No shit. That's why nobody knows about him. Because he is an absolute hoss. Let me give you the stats real quick, right? Yeah. Maddox Madsen, great name, has 2,556 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I rest my fucking case. The only reason why running Bronco on his team. So
yeah, I mean,
and it's not even just Genty either. You look at other players on that roster. Okay, you got Cameron Camper. He has almost 900 yards in receiving yards this season, 4 touchdowns. Matt Lauder, 6 touchdowns on the season. All these players are getting the love. Madsen is a sophomore. Be fucking scared, Mountain West. He is a sophomore, Brayden. He is a sophomore, and he's just getting started. So Boise State is a team that has a Heisman candidate running back on a team with a great, great quarterback that could be a future Heisman himself if he stays at Boise State and keeps playing at this high level. Next year could be his last season. He could stick around for his senior season. Boise State is they're in prime position right now. It's hard to believe halfway through last year they fired their head coach.
Yeah. Also, you said Genty's a junior, right?
Genty is
or is the quarterback
junior. The quarterback's a sophomore. Genty's a junior.
Yeah, I don't think Genty's staged because
no.
We've seen guys who have incredible junior seasons stay in college and then fuck it up their senior year or get injured. Genty will probably be better off to go straight to the NFL, and somebody's got to fucking pick his ass up. And I don't think he'll be a top 10 pick because taking running backs in the top 10 is risky. But by the way, Graham Bellerby, I like you. Go Ducks. But Genty will at least be a top 15 or the top 15 pick.
Top 10. He should be a top. He's a top 10 running back. So I would say.
How would you feel about the Bengals drafting him? Because I've seen people say that the Bengals might get him because you need.
I would love that.
You need somebody because losing Joe Mixon is fucking hurting you hard.
We're not going to get into the Bengals. I've had enough pain this weekend.
Okay, so let's
reset a little bit here.
Okay, so we're
yeah.
So I think we talked enough about this. Or we should. I want to quickly say one thing. 2 teams at the outside looking in, again behind Alabama, are the 2 SEC teams of Ole Miss that constantly kept bungling it, and then of course South Carolina that honestly really should only have 1 loss. They should have been going for the
logical.
They should have been going for the SEC championship, man. South Carolina had only lost 1 game in bad fashion, and that was against Ole Miss. I don't know how that one happened, and they've been on a roll ever since that Alabama loss. They haven't lost since. And they nearly beat Bama with crazy insanity with that ending. LSU, the refs constantly kept beating them down because I was watching that game. It was like, holy crap! How many flags are you going to throw on LSU? I mean, against South Carolina and none against LSU.
Yeah, I remember that. South Carolina got fucking hoed. And I think, and then what happens if they know what LSU is going to do the rest of the season?
I would say that in this case, South Carolina is an anomaly, man. They got white hot at the last possible moment, but they had already done too much damage to themselves. You can't look back. They had 3 bad losses early on, and there's not much else you can really do about that.
1 bad loss. Two of the losses weren't too bad. They lost.
Bama's had 2 bad losses and Bama's had 2 bad losses, and yet they're still in because they're Bama. South Carolina doesn't have that luxury. I think people forget it's not the SEC that gets the benefit of the doubt. It's just Alabama, man. It is Alabama and it's Georgia to get the benefit of the doubt. Ole Miss, if it was Ole Miss that looked at the same level as Alabama, or if South Carolina was at the same level as Alabama, Miami wouldn't be fucking sniffing first one out right now. I'm just saying. But Lane Kiffin has to bitch and moan on social media about why Ole Miss should be in. Oh, we have a tougher schedule. We do this, we do that. You lost to the Florida Gators. Go the fuck home.
Yeah, no, Lane Kiffin, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, y'all should have fucking won your games, man. Like, your claim to fame this year is you beat Georgia after Alabama already did.
Alabama kind of gets a lot of this stuff because they are the team that has they are the program that has the most national title wins that's still playing at the top level. The same with Notre Dame. They're the next one. Even though both teams still don't have enough as Yale, but Yale doesn't play in FBS. And all that occurred in the 1800s. Really,
I do. I know you were talking about maybe we're done here. There's actually a few things I want to do. I do want to touch on still. I've let you guys kind of just roll, and I think that's been all really good takes. But I got a couple of things I do want to clear up here in the chat. I saw this earlier from Fierce Cam Ross, longtime viewer of the channel. I'm having second thoughts about this 12-team playoff. Teams no longer have the same pressure to kill it during regular season, which was one of the most beautiful things about it before. I do not agree. And let me explain why. Going into the season, no one knew what this playoff was going to bring. No one knew what the precedent was going to be. A new precedent is going to be set for the playoff committee by whatever choices they make in the next week. And every time there's a selection, you got to look at it kind of like a Supreme Court situation. Because in the future, they're going to look back on previous decisions as merit for future decisions. It works like a court, okay?
Except the courts in this fucking country suck, but let's move on.
Shut up. We're not going to get political.
You started it.
No. I am strictly talking about the mechanical process of how a court works versus how the committee works. Strictly that. Okay?
Akbar, go ahead.
What you all just did just reminded me of riff tracks from A New Hope. I don't think that Obi-Wan exists anymore. He died around the same time as your father. He knew my father? I told you to drop it, Luke. Well, you brought it up, you jackass! Mike Nelson just screaming, you brought it up, you jackass. It's too funny.
The point is, and since someone banned the bot, please,
We got a bot in chat. We got a bot in chat on the Twitch chat.
Shut up. Someone banned the mod in Twitch chat.
Quickly, activate the EMP.
All right.
Execute order 66 on this bitch.
The point
EMP.
that I'm trying to get, the point that I'm trying to get at here is, I think Illogical just took the words out of my mouth. This is a brand new cycle. There's going to be a lot of growing pains. Bullshit is bound to happen in the first 2 years before they fucking do something else. And there's already people on ESPN which say we ought to fix this, which is people think that they're just trying to cheese it for the SEC when in reality, they control nothing at all. Frankly, they don't. They fund the bowl games for the lower teams. That's it. What everyone is saying is we need to eliminate automatic qualifiers for conference champions to the next round and just put the top 4 teams, period, end of subject, and then reserve the group of 5 champion a guaranteed spot to sit at the table at the 12th seed at the absolute worst. That is what I'm
cutting down automatic bids from 5 to 4.
No, I'm telling no. Top 4 gets an automatic spot into a first round bye. Conference champions get an automatic bid, but they're not guaranteed a spot at the top 4 in the first round bye.
What Red is saying.
That's what I'm hearing.
What Red is saying, Alan.
I understand. Okay, now I understand that. But then here's the problem. It's already hard enough for a Boise State to fucking get that high to begin with because there's bias for everyone else. And it goes back to the same fucking argument that I have had for a while now, and I think other people across the college football world are starting to catch on to it. They're starting to have their own arguments that might be separate from mine, but it's a thing that's going to happen. if you really want to end this argument about this team plays a tougher schedule, then you get half of your schedule as conference opponents, and the other half you play one team from each of the other fucking conferences, and then also
Alan,
maybe save for a few exceptions, kicks out a free FCS win.
Alan, no, because you know what would happen? People will still bitch and moan.
Yeah, but then you have more chances for upsets. Shit might get evened out, and then you'll let the cream rise to the fucking top.
More chances for upsets. Man, LNIL has been doing a great job about that. This year has been absolutely insane.
For real. Yeah, this has been a lot.
Absolutely.
This has been upset happy this year, but here's the problem immediately I'm thinking of. If you were to only make
not
6
as bad
conference
as 2007
games,
though.
No, but if you were to only have 6 conference games, what the fuck do you do about these mega conferences that have 16, 18 teams? That's unfeasible.
Figure it out.
You can't. Six conference games is 2. You know how many fucking tiebreakers you would need to have in place? We already got a problem with tie. No. I'm talking.
No, for those massive conferences, then you have to split. You then have to, you figure out ends justify the means. There's an exception to every rule.
But you guys have to keep the rivalry.
I love you, buddy. I respect you. You can't. In this era, 6 conference games is not enough. I'm sorry. I understand where you're coming from with your opinion. You're just trying to find the right way to do things. But I'm telling you,
I'm just sick and tired of this whole. Red, I'm sick and tired of people arguing who has a tougher fucking schedule. Who gives a goddamn fuck? You play the teams in front of you. You either win or you lose.
Okay.
It's not like the NFL where you can fucking
and
tie.
That is why, and you know what? Unfortunately, that is a byproduct of the old ways of doing things. Because what did the BCS look at more than anything else? Strength of schedule. What did the 4-team playoff look at? Strength of schedule. We haven't had to worry about strength of schedule as much since the goddamn 60s. So that's not going to go away. I hate to tell you, it's not going to go away. What you can do is you can work within the system that's already built. Akbar, you wanted to say something. What were you going to say, man?
I think we kind of went way past it, because I was just going to say to Alan, the way Red was saying with his situation with his little proposal was we have Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and Notre Dame as the 4 first round buys in that scenario, and then Boise State just still will.
Yes, exactly, Fierce. This is what I'm talking about. Like, bro, unless it's like a top FCS team, like your North Dakota States and whatever, like. Teams like the Citadel, Mercer. Okay, I will admit Mercer was good this year in FCS, but regardless, get the fuck out. Get the fuck off the goddamn schedule. Fill it out with somebody from the FBS. Something.
Red, highlight Fierce Camros's comment, because this is
sure. Go ahead, Akbar.
How the heck do you know who is going to be your dang cupcake on the schedule? You really do not know, especially in if we're talking conference play or something like. Okay, you're looking at Texas. I mean, honestly, some cases who was really the cupcake or something, who wasn't. Kentucky was one of those cases. In hindsight, cupcake. They weren't a cupcake with Georgia. They nearly made Georgia crap their pants.
So that's a great argument. You're not going to know. I think he's also trying to kind of refer into FCS, who wants to play Alabama State, right? And I get that. But you also are forgetting the other side of this. And what do I always say on this channel, guys? It's a broken record. Money talks, bullshit walks. And this applies to FCS too. How do you think these FCS teams balance the budgets? They accept these offers from FBS for millions of dollars to go get their asses kicked on a random Saturday in August.
And that just shows how fucking broken the system is.
But you can't fix the system overnight.
I understand that. But how the fuck in the end, and I hate to make this fucking comparison, I really do, but it's like how the NBA has to keep pumping money into the WNBA to keep that shit alive. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against women's basketball. That deserves to exist. There should be a top league for women's basketball. But to rely on the NBA on NBA money for that, it's like a kid and you live with your parents, it's like at some point you got to get the fuck out and get on your own.
Okay,
you know?
Alan, we just took a hard ride into a brick wall. I don't know anything about what you just brought up, about how true that is. And that sounds a little fucked up. So we're going to clear away from that. And I'm just going to look at Caitlin Clark and the fact that the WNBA just had its most successful season ever to say, if that's the case, they're clearly on the right track now. So we'll move away from there. They're on the right track. Actually, women's sports in general is on the right track. The NWSL just had its highest rated championship final in women's soccer history just this past couple of weeks.
That's great.
So,
don't get me wrong.
So
it's going to take it's still going to take forever
and that's
for
it.
women's
and
sports
that's great.
to
and that's it.
rise
and we're
up
not going to go
because there's too many misogynists in this fucking country. But
okay, throw the steel beam. Throw it now.
Yeah, we're going to reset.
Okay, all I'm going to say here, I think we should wrap this part of this segment, this whole thing up personally, but it's up to you, Red. But I want to say that with what we have on point here, we still don't know. We got to wait for the conference championships and all that stuff. But right now, honestly, we've done a pretty good job of keeping 3 lost teams out as best as possible. Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina all have good claims to make that. To sneak in still. Although personally, and this is coming from me as an Alabama fan. Personally, I think South Carolina should be replacing Alabama in that scenario because, yeah, South Carolina has 3 losses, but look who they lost to. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to LSU. They lost to Alabama. Meanwhile, Alabama has lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Oklahoma. Those losses are probably a bit worse than the losses that South Carolina took. South Carolina's only real bad loss was against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is 14. Alabama's biggest loss was against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma just barely managed to make it to a bowl game. So that's just the situation we're in.
I get it. So
okay. All right. You want to move on to something else?
Hold on, Alan. I'm gonna just comment and kind of summarize this whole thing, and then we're gonna move over to the conference championships. So this is what I'm gonna say here. So when it comes to the bracket as it is currently, there is a lot that I like and a lot that I hate. I don't like that Alabama's in right now. I don't like that teams like South Carolina are getting the shaft. I don't like that Ole Miss is anywhere near here, thanks to their coach being a loudmouth. And I don't like some of these matchups. For example, Notre Dame, Alabama, what the fuck? We could get Georgia versus Texas 3 in the quarterfinals. Like, there's some things about this I hate, but there are a couple of things I love. For example, Tennessee has never played Ohio State in Ohio Stadium. That's a game I want to see. That's never happened. I did the check. That's never happened. I don't think so. I would love to see that.
Watch that be another thing the SEC teams bitch about is playing in the cold. Fuck you.
Get over it. This isn't the NFL where everybody's building a dome stadium north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, and by the way, stop building dome stadiums. Did you see Pittsburgh, Cleveland?
All right. We are going.
Anyway, hold on. Before we continue to anything else, please pull up what I just switched screens to share. Because Dan Lanning is trending on Twitter, and I've been wondering why. Apparently, he got a Washington helmet in the locker room after we kicked their ass and smashed it. And
oh my God.
Fans are pissed off because of this.
Welcome back, Gallagher.
I just want to bring up this tweet right here from Barstool Ducks. It's okay to want to beat the piss out of your rival, first of all, but also this tweet right here. Ohio State covers every M in town when they play Michigan. Alabama and Auburn are committing ecological warfare against each other.
What?
Remember when a fucking Alabama fan poisoned those trees in Auburn years ago?
Tumors trees, yeah.
That whole thing and shit like that. God forbid we let angst infiltrate college football in the Pacific Northwest.
Wait, I'm sorry. How the heck did I miss that story? Somebody did what to the trees?
So the story goes that
it's in the what? Go find ESPN 30 for 30, the Iron Bowl.
I'll
Go
tell
watch
you.
Go
I'll
watch
tell you.
it.
So
it's got the full phone call and
Alan,
everything.
Well, let me tell the story for those of you that are that don't know that much about the Iron Bowl. So after the Iron Bowl, I believe this was after the Iron Bowl in 2013, the famous field goal return for the touchdown that sealed the deal.
It was an early 2010s one. I know that much.
Yeah,
that was after kick six, maybe.
Yeah, it was after kick six. It was after kick six. An Alabama fan was so angry, so mad
Harvey Updike.
He went to Toomer's Trees on Toomer's Corner in Auburn, Alabama. Very famous, where they would throw toilet paper into the trees to celebrate any great Auburn victory, victory over Alabama, or even a national championship. And he poured a chemical onto the trees that ultimately ended up killing them. And they only found out about this because the son of a bitch was dumb enough to go on the Paul Feinbaum show and admit to the world that he did it.
Yeah. Yep. And then
he ended up serving prison time.
He's actually dead. He ended
up serving prison time. It ruined his life, and the poor bastard passed away.
He died in 2020. But why? What? Okay, I'm sorry. Can somebody please
I believe what happened, they removed the trees. They planted new ones, I think.
Except Auburn burned one of them down when they beat LSU in 2016, apparently.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Someone burned it down. I don't know if it was.
I have the other graphic up.
Yeah, we don't know. After they beat LSU, they TP'd the trees, and then someone lit one of the toilet paper tissues on fire. And I'm going to just that's hate. And while I understand there's probably people pissed off right now at the actions of Oregon. And while I understand there's also people pissed off about what Michigan did, what NC State tried to do, what Florida
if you don't want a flag planted on your logo, fucking beat the other team. It's like when T.O., when he was with the Niners, and he broke some record and he celebrated on the Star because it was at Dallas, and he's a former Cowboys player, and he had done it earlier. I think he might have done it earlier in the game too, whatever. But he did it, and then he got fucking shoved. Guess what? Don't fucking let them score. Don't let them fucking beat you. And then it won't fucking happen. See, this is the problem. People want to take this shit out of the game because, it's like, why? We're losing rivalries. We're losing actual rivalries and actual rivalry culture. And yes, it shouldn't get to a point where you're fighting people and whatever, but show some passion. Show some fight. Stop being a bunch of fucking pussies. I'm talking like my dad. What the fuck?
I want to say that it's kind of funny to hear some of the craziness between rivalries and all that stuff, and it is a shame we're losing it. I'm still remembering the stories of like A&M fans kept kidnapping beavos and killing them and sending them to the slaughterhouse and then eating them and then grilling them, and then of course that leads to that one story of Bernie Burns at Rooster Teeth where he said he had buddies that kidnapped Rivalry from A&M, and then there was a manhunt for them and they panicked. Which was absolutely like some RTO just left the gate open.
And the only reason why people are pissed off.
Come here.
Yeah, definitely, Akbar.
I
think what a lot of people are just pissed off about.
I don't give a fuck about goddamn unwritten rules.
Okay. Time out, Alan. So what I'm trying to say
is being a dumbass. So
hold on. What I'm trying to say is that basically rivalries always have these intense moments in our history of college football. For as long as there's been college football, there has been a rivalry. The very first one, Princeton-Rutgers, all the way back in 1869, before 1869, but when they played mob ball, which was absolutely more brutal than whatever the fuck we're playing now. There's always been cultures and there's people have fucking died over these things. So I'm not saying that I condone fights on the field after games. It's not the first time a flag has been playing at Ohio's after a game. Baker did it in 17 when OU knocked off Ohio State in Columbus. These are just, there's certain things that are kind of expected. Flag plants, they're kind of expected. People destroying property, it's kind of expected. You hate to see some actions and some reactions like fighting and shit afterwards, because ideally the loser just gets off the field as quickly as possible before any of that happens. But regardless, yeah, I agree with the thought of, well, if you don't want your flag planted at midfield, if you don't want your helmet getting smashed by a sledgehammer, if you don't want someone setting tumors trees on, I'm just kidding on that last one. Just don't lose your game. If you lose your game, you're going to get ridiculed. Ohio State has been ridiculed for 4 tries now.
I just want to say that this weekend was absolutely kind of crazy though, because it was like, holy crap, were there so many brawls at the end of the games? It was okay. Let's see. What was it?
I think that's the only reason why people are like maybe majorly upset is the fact of it just happened almost every fucking game. But that's what rivalry week is supposed to be about. It's fucking rivalries.
But that is the thing. This like so many of them happened that day. I mean, like you maybe get 1 or 2 of them, but it was just like it was like, let's see, what were the games? It was Ohio State, Michigan, North Carolina versus North Carolina State. Which other ones were there? It was like 3 other
Florida
ones.
State, Florida.
5 or 6, bro. Yeah, Florida State, Florida.
Every year, there might be one a year at different places, but it was never this much. I don't recall ever.
No, Alabama kicked Auburn's ass, and there was almost a fight during that fucking game.
Oh yeah,
like what the fuck? But this is cool. This is good. What the fuck are you gonna expect? They're kids. They're young adults. They're gonna.
And then you have the police coming in with the riot gear.
Like, there's going to be emotion, and this is why people get so upset when you look at the NFL and the taunting rules. Why are we trying to take emotion out of the game? NBA's got their own problem with this. Why are we trying to take emotion out of the game? And if you want to say it's to be a role model for the kids, fuck the kids. Who cares? That's more on the parents than anything else.
We're gonna move on.
So, okay, yeah, let's just move on.
We're gonna move on, and I'm gonna try to find the right view for this. Hold on. There we go. Perfect. All right.
There's one thing I wanted to say though. There was one last thing I wanted to say. Well,
go ahead, and then we're gonna get to the conference championship weekend.
It was a completely different topic, but it was just like I was wanting us to quickly talk about some of the chaos of the games. But okay, we'll just move on, I guess.
Oh no! No! Let's touch on that real quick.
Okay, well, let me start this off because I got the list here. Okay, first of all, let's start off with Tulane versus Memphis. Basically, Tulane choked it. They had a chance. If they had won, they would be. I think that they'd still be two. They'd be 2 losses, but they would be kind of in that position, that driver's seat of just being able to swoop in just in case Boise State stumbles. Now that's definitely not going to happen. So basically, Boise State is in control of their own destiny. Unless they lose, then UNLV takes over.
Tulane could have been in the driver's seat for a playoff spot if the Big 12 blew up.
Yeah. Okay, then we go to Friday. Pretty decent Egg Bowl. Nothing really crazy with that one. Ole Miss took care of business. Colorado State being just Oklahoma, not even letting Oklahoma State score. Like they were sending a message. We got Minnesota beating Wisconsin, with ending Wisconsin's bowl streak. Wisconsin was on a long bowl streak as well, and that's been ended. Nebraska, they had a 10-0 lead at halftime, and then they end up losing 13-10. What I thought Nebraska was turning a corner recently, they have completely collapsed this year. They are lucky they are going to a bowl game. Can I say that? What happened to Nebraska? I thought that quarterback was supposed to be like the next Patrick Mahomes. His dang coach was freaking showing it. Oh my gosh, what? I'm sorry. Can we quickly talk 10 seconds about that? About what just happened? Never mind. You know what? Let's move on. Okay, but we have to talk about the biggest game of that night, of Friday night, the absolute insanity that was good old fashioned hate. 8 overtimes. What the heck?
That was insane.
And Georgia Tech fucking blew it. But then again, you should have called targeting. You should have called holding against Georgia on the preceding offensive drive. And why the fuck did Georgia Tech not run the fucking ball like they had done all fucking night? You could have ended it several overtimes sooner. Stop throwing the ball. But Hands King, you deserve your crown because holy shit. Just Oh yeah, no, Electro. If the NCAA gets talked with fight penalties next year, that's fucking bullshit, bro. That's bullshit. That's
Okay.
bullshit.
Okay, but anyways, that game, it just Georgia Tech was taking
There
care
we
of
go.
Georgia. Georgia manages to make another comeback. Again they
Yeah,
probably they shouldn't have
17-0.
they
What the
should have.
fuck?
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember they showed a graphic that showed like Georgia Tech had like a 2 times in the past they had a 20-point lead at halftime, like it was 20-0 or something. They had 20-point leads and they blew those. And it's just like, man, Georgia Tech, you need a way bigger lead to make sure to put Georgia away, apparently, because you cannot just simply have a 17-point lead against these guys. It's not safe. You need to be like up a 30 by the – and even a 30-point lead might not be safe with Georgia, apparently, as we proved with Alabama.
Zap.
Okay. Anyways, that was that insanity. So then we move on to Saturday. Okay, so basically the early game. I mean, we've kind of already talked about Ohio State, Michigan. I thought Michigan may have scored too fast. I thought maybe Ohio State had enough time to be able to quickly pull some magic and be able to drive into field goal range at least. That did not happen. They only got 1 yard. 4 plays, 1 yard. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the play calling, but Red would explain that better. Let's see who else we got here. I'm looking at some of the ranked teams. USC almost they were our last hope. They were our last hope of embarrassing Notre Dame at the end of it all, and they had a good shootout. They had a pretty good shootout with them, but Notre Dame eventually just overwhelmed them. We got Syracuse versus Miami. Miami had a 21-point lead, and Syracuse managed to come back. That was crazy to watch. That was fun to watch. I do not get what Mario Cristobal was thinking at the end there, though. Why are you kicking the field goal? Look, I get it's 4th down, but you're not guaranteed to get the ball back. And he was trusting his defense. The defense had given up 42 points. I don't know what he was thinking there, but that clearly didn't work for him. Here's the thing. My dad was saying that California had a chance of upsetting SMU. Yeah, that was not the case. That thing was gone in a hurry. Indiana. Oh my gosh. 66-0. My God, Indiana. You looked at Colorado and said, we could do better.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Clemson versus South Carolina. Oh my gosh. The ending of that game was so fun. Clemson. I was watching at South Carolina scores the touchdown. Minute left. And I'm like, okay, they've given Clemson too much time to drive down the field. And then I'm watching like, holy crap, they are driving down the field quick. They're going to score a touchdown before this. And he gets intercepted on a crazy little bop. Like it tips out of the one Clemson player's hands, and then the South Carolina guy catches the interception. So we have that was
and then fucking Miami. And then Syracuse beats Miami, and everyone at Syracuse is like, "You're welcome, Clemson." Yeah, Harvey. That was like 2 years ago. They played Michigan, and people said, "Yeah, but they had a weak Big Ten West schedule." Doesn't matter. Once again, you play the teams that are scheduled in front of you.
Okay, pause real quick. G Gator G, how did you find my fucking script for the goddamn video? Man, fuck you. Not gonna rewind. God damn it.
That they could not compete and fight. They could
Florida State at long last showed that they could somehow compete and fight after the game over a fucking flag. Yep, that line's out of the script. Thanks, bud. Make me work harder over here.
Yeah, okay. A few more games to quickly talk about. Kansas, what happened, Kansas? Baylor absolutely took you guys to the cleaners.
We got a $9.99 from Dave Valensky.
Pause the thought. Dave Valensky, Minnesota and Wisconsin have played 134 straight years. In my opinion, it is the second best rivalry in the Big Ten. It's now tied 63-8. The Axe is coming home. Go Gophers, ski you ma, and RTB. I guess that means roast the Badgers. I don't know, but
that's crazy.
Dave, thank you for the $9.99, man. I really appreciate that. It's okay, Gator. I forgive you.
Okay. Baylor just absolutely smoked Kansas, which is just like, man, what happened, Kansas? Y'all ran the gauntlet and you came out standing beforehand. Didn't they play like 4 ranked teams in a row and beat them all?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? I mean, there was a great image. It was the great image. It's that meme of the dog in heaven and the reapers like, it's time to go. Was I a good boy? No, I was told you were the best or something. And it was just like Kansas was like, was I a good team? And like Death was like, no, but you F some S up.
You fuck some shit up.
Kansas literally had the full Joker arc. Like, I'm going down, Batman, but I'm taking all of y'all with me.
Yeah, they
like you tried to do in USF a couple seasons ago when you fucking failed.
And here's the thing,
winning a title.
Here's the thing. If Kansas had beaten Baylor, they would have gone bowling. They were a game short of going bowling.
Yeah. So
let's see. Kansas and State and Iowa State had a pretty good game. And then of course, and then the last game of the night, because who really cares about BYU and Houston for that most part? I mean, that wasn't really.
Colorado did.
That game actually mattered because if BYU had lost, Colorado would be in Arlington this weekend and not Iowa State.
Oh yeah, okay, you're right. My mistake on that one. But I was talking about Texas versus Texas A&M. I am so glad I did not stay on that live stream because that was a boring game.
Yeah, it was rough.
Texas A&M.
It was rough.
Man, I didn't think morale could get any lower for that program, but it just did. They've been in the Big Ten, I mean the SEC for a decade now, and now they're watching their most hated rivals show up to the conference, and the first year they're already going to be playing in the championship game.
You know who I feel bad for? My good friend Bull Muscle. By the way, go follow him on YouTube if you
I forgot about
Bull Muscle Ag. Yeah, Bull Muscle Lag on YouTube. He's great for giving yourself if you're looking for a life or dietary advice, and he's fucking buff if you're into that kind of thing. What I was going to say was that team. He went to Texas A&M, so he's an Aggie through and through. Row the boat. Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you doing that. But roast the Badgers makes sense too, doesn't it? That team fucking broke Ag so bad. He does not follow football that much at all anymore because it is such a negative detriment on his life because of how bad the Aggies have basically, hurt him. And I feel bad for him because goddamn it, A&M, for as much as they talk and as big as they seem they are, and as loud as Kyle Field is, they haven't won a national title since the 30s. And by the way, they're in prime story time with Red Mode, if you catch my drift. They're going to be a target very soon.
Here's the thing. This was the first year with Mike Elko. Going into the start of the season, especially after that Notre Dame loss, it's like, okay, this is Elko's first year. Let's give him. I mean, you got to give him some time. He that's the thing. I mean, that was that joke with who was their last coach? Jimbo Fisher. The joke, like, Jimbo Fisher just needs another year to get his players in place. He's like, he's already been here for 6 years. Wait, really? But here's the thing, Elko, he was just going to need time. But then Elko, A&M was like the last undefeated SEC. They were the last team in the SEC to go undefeated. And then they just completely collapsed.
In conference play, we're specifically conference play.
In conference play, yeah. Because everybody else had beaten each other.
We are well over now, so we need to get going.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good, brother. It's all good. We need to talk about this.
I talk about fast enough.
It is championship weekend in college football. All conference championships are now matched up, and I'm going to kind of run down the list real quick here. Conference USA, Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky. This is actually going to be the second week in a row they're going to play. The Toppers had to beat Jack State last week to make it to the Conference USA championship. They did just that. They got a rematch this week against them. In the American, Army will host Tulane. In Mountain West, Boise State will host UNLV. And in the MAC, it is the Battle of Ohio between the Redhawks of Miami and the Bobcats of Ohio Athens.
I think it's important. I think it's important to say that with the Mountain West, this is the winner takes all situation. Whoever wins this probably goes. Whoever wins this will go to the playoff.
The winner of the Mountain West Championship will represent the group of 5 in the playoffs. That's pretty much guaranteed. Army's not going to beat Tulane bad enough to leap over UNLV if UNLV beats Boise State, because Boise State's ranked way too high. Moving on to the power conferences.
Wait.
Forgot. Sorry. Yep. Sun Belt, Louisiana Marshall. Now, moving on to the Power 4.
We mentioned Arizona, y'all. We mentioned
y'all. And you'll be mentioned again.
One thing. I got one thing. Why doesn't Louisiana have an in-state rivalry with LSU? Why the heck is that not like a game every year?
Because they get their ass kicked every fucking time.
Well, that didn't stop Oklahoma from playing Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State is at least in the Big 12.
That's true.
All right, Big 12 championship. Arizona State versus Iowa State. Just 2 teams that simply survived, not because they're the best. Just straight up.
Winner of that game will pretty much be the last Power 4 team to make it in, and more than and they won't. But neither one of them, whoever wins that, isn't going to get a bye.
But if Boise State were to lose, and if Arizona State were to win, and if UNLV does not jump up high enough in the rankings from beating Boise State, UNLV will have to start the playoffs on the road, and Arizona State would get a first-round bye. Iowa State, probably the same situation there. So if Boise State loses, the game on Saturday for the Big 12 title not only is for the only Big 12 spot in the playoff, but also for a first-round bye. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, the SMU Mustangs, ranked number 3 in the country, number 8 in the poll seeding currently, will take on Clemson, who is currently not in the playoffs, but if they win, will be automatically qualified for the playoff. SMU is likely in regardless if they win or lose, as long as it's a respectable loss.
Yeah, I think Miami's probably out for sure.
I think so too. And we got another dono, Ron Gav, 248 with his second dono of the night. One other in FCS. Oh shit, yeah. Jackson State versus Southern.
Something like that, yeah. Yes.
Jackson State versus Southern University for the SWAC. The winner plays the champion of the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl for the historically black college and the university's national championship. Those games are always fun to watch.
MEAC sounds like some sort of creature that would from Doctor Who. And now I'm just remembering that. I'm never remembering the meat from that recent the Star Beast from the recent David Tennant 14th Doctor thing. You know, just like Exhibit C. He pulls out a gun in a trial. Exhibit C. So I started blasting.
In Atlanta, Jesus Christ, Akbar. In Atlanta, we have the Texas Longhorns versus Georgia in a rematch for the SEC crown. Both teams are probably in the playoffs regardless of result. Ooh. And finally, the nightcap. Well, I don't think Georgia, unless they get blown to smithereens by Texas.
If Georgia gets blown out, I think they drop Georgia, and we might see another one of the SEC teams on the outside looking in jump over Miami.
No, they wouldn't do that because Miami's not playing, so that wouldn't be fair. They would probably just put Miami in because they have 2 losses.
Oh God! If Texas beats Georgia, that would be nice. And then if Texas beats Georgia, you can justify Alabama staying in at that point because Alabama beat Georgia.
Yeah.
If Georgia had beaten Alabama, then there you go. Then Alabama would have one more loss. It would be out. So.
Oh, Kellen DeBoer would be out of a job. You don't lose 4 in your first year at Alabama.
The final game of the evening. It literally will be the final game of the evening, except for the ACC championship. Oregon will take on Penn State for the Big Ten title. Both teams well in the playoff at this point. It's really just going to come down to who's going to host a playoff game and who is going to get a first-round bye.
James Franklin, now is the time to ever win a game when you win a big game. Now would be the time, really. But
imagine Oregon loses.
I will probably end up live streaming this game. You fuckers are open to joining me. Grayson, shut the fuck up. We're not doing this. We're not choking. We're not losing. We are winning the goddamn Big Ten. We're going to be the number 1 seed, and y'all can suck it.
I was going to say that, honestly, I feel I would have strong confidence in Oregon against Penn State because it's James Franklin's Penn State. They always blow the big games. They will easily take care of business when it comes to all the other mediocre teams in the Big Ten. When it comes to playing Wisconsin, Minnesota, Rutgers, Purdue, they easily will take care of business with those guys. But when it comes to playing like Ohio State, Michigan, or in this case now Oregon, as soon as you're playing the top dogs in the conference, they just find a way to lose. They did that against Ohio State earlier. I have not seen, and they've done this for years ever since Franklin has been coach. He has just gotten, how many of those 3 teams that, well, okay, mention the Michigan and Ohio State stuff. How many times did they beat them under Franklin?
Back and shit.
I think they beat Ohio State like once in James Franklin's tenure as a coach at Penn State. It's just he is at this point, he's kind of holding them back. But then again, if they get rid of him, who do they get to replace him that can be able to bring in the talent like Franklin has been doing for Penn State? If he goes, Penn State might just completely collapse. So I don't know. They almost lost to. I kind of wanted them to lose to Minnesota. That would have been funny. And that would have shaken up so much.
Here's the thing that we need to also talk about: the fact of the because you've got Arizona State, who came from the Pac-12 to the Big 12, Oregon, who came from the Pac-12 to the Big 10, Texas, who came from the Big 12 to the SEC. And SMU, who came from I don't fucking not remember where to the ACC. 4 different outsiders could win their conferences
in their first year.
This year. In their first year. So the only way this doesn't happen is if the college football gods literally look at all of this and say, no, Georgia, Clemson, Penn State, and Iowa State all need to win. I don't think any of that shit's going to happen. Maybe Dabo gets the job done against SMU. Maybe Iowa State gets it done against fucking Arizona State.
Maybe Georgia wins again.
Yeah, and I don't. And that if Georgia somehow blows Texas out again, then people were saying Texas had kind of an easy schedule. Yeah. And then there's us, and we're not losing to Penn State. If we lose to Penn State, I will be genuinely shocked. There's no fucking way.
So
no, do not say that. There definitely is a way, but honestly, I would say the odds are heavily in your favor.
All right, so
that's the thing. The odds were, but here's the thing: the odds were heavily in Ohio State's favor, and they lost to me. I'm sorry, Red. I had to bring that up, but you got to understand, this is college football now. Any given Saturday, man. Oklahoma beat Alabama.
Arby's. We have got beef, motherfucker.
Oklahoma beat Alabama. Okay, nobody, even myself, was thinking that was going to happen. That's college football now. That is what NIL has definitely done. We are getting more parity amongst these huge teams playing each other. This is not even 10 years ago when you were basically. You get what I'm saying.
With that all said, my final thoughts on all this weekend this upcoming weekend will be published on a video that I will upload likely tomorrow at this point. And to go over the upcoming week for college football. So stay tuned for that, which I could have gotten out sooner, but I can only make videos so quickly. I'm lucky I got the chaos video out on Sunday. So that all said, I think we're good to call it a night here. So, hey, guys, seriously, thank you so much tonight for joining us. Thank you for the donations. As always, that will go right back into the channel and try to make shit a little bit better. Thanks to Alan and Akbar for joining me again. As always, gentlemen, it's a pleasure having you on. And from all of us over here, thank you to all of you for making this
Phoenix
as much
showed up.
as making this as much fun as possible every single week. I will stream Sunday for Selection Sunday here on this YouTube channel, and we will be going live 10 till noon for college football's Selection Sunday, and we'll probably
the
stream
says
for
it's on at 11:50 in the morning.
the hold on. Sorry, internet couldn't take it anymore. We will be live Sunday for Selection Sunday, and we will probably stream for about an hour talking about the any controversies, the potential matchups, predictions, and whatnot. Next week, I will have a full playoff prediction video made and out. But until then, thank you guys very much for joining. And thank you again to everybody that's new to the channel in the last 2 weeks. We've gotten over 200 subscribers that have joined us, 100 subscribers each of the last 2 weeks. We are growing at a fast pace, and we're happy to have you all along the ride in the Red Army. So thank you again for joining us. I will catch you guys at the next stream and the next video. Until then, have a good night. Take care of each other. Be nice. And don't smoke. See ya.